Hi, this is Dave Rudin, and we're here for a special edition of FCIAC Football Weekly. And joining me tonight is Joe Della Vecchia, the St. Joseph football coach, and Lou Marinelli, the coach at New Canaan. And we're having a little debate about what we want to do on Friday night. Joe wants to go to the movies and wants to go see Captain Phillips. Lou wants to go see Gravity, and they asked me to break the tie, and I think I'd rather see your football teams play. What do you guys think?
See Gravity.
I'm not a movie guy, so I don't know.
Well, let's talk a little bit. I mean, this has been like, two trains coming at each other for 7-8 weeks right now. Now that, Joe, the game's finally here, you got a few more days. What are your thoughts?
Well, like I said, we have a few more days to prepare. In our minds, they're the number one team in the state, so we got an awful lot to prepare for. We've had a great rivalry the past few years. Hopefully the game turns out in our favor, and a great game like it's been the last couple of years. I think it's going to be quite a game between two teams that are, have a lot on the line.
Lou, what about from your standpoint? I know your guys, you've had some blowouts early in the season. I'm sure your guys have been really waiting for this challenge. You tell them not to look ahead, but I'm sure in their eyes they've been looking ahead a little bit.
I don't know that they really have. When you play Staples the week before, and those other teams, honest to God, the fact that St. Joe's was undefeated and we were still undefeated, you kind of look down the line a little bit. But I think if you jump too far ahead and you start to worry about them, I think you lose your focus on what, on what could happen ahead of you, before you get there. So. I don't know that I've sensed a whole lot. After we finished the Staples game, I thought, the focus and the kids all of a sudden were looking at it, and I think it's a big game.
When you have a game like this, number 2, number 3 in the state, how is this week different than another week, or if you were playing somebody else?
I'm not sure how Joe's handled it, but the way I look at it, it's another game. It's another game. We're not going to do anything different the way we practice, the way we approach a game than we would any other time. So, and it's to try to keep the kids focused on the game and not all the things that go on outside the game, like TV shows like this, or but the fact that we're doing this because they're two undefeated teams. But I think if you could just keep it, and I'm very pleased with the way we practiced and prepared, all year long. So we're not going to change now.
Joe, what about for St. Joseph? What's it been like? Is this week different for you?
I echo Lou's words, and we had a tough opening our first 4 games, so we had an awful lot to prepare for. Then we couldn't look ahead at anybody, and even the the last 2 weeks we were very cautious about looking past our opponents. We did a couple weeks ago change the way we practiced a little bit. We tried to stay more on schedule and keep kids focused with every drill that we were doing. So we've continued that. Made sure that we stayed on task as we went along, and try not to, again, think about New Canaan until, after Saturday night after we got on the bus and we said, okay, now we can start thinking about them. One
of the story angles that's getting played up, you've been in a couple of tight games. You had come down to the last play against Fairfield Prep. Darien really gave you a tough test for 3 quarters. Is that an advantage?
I don't know. Could be. We're comfortable playing that way because we're used to it. But I don't know how much of an advantage it is, because when you're a team like New Canaan, you're good. It doesn't really make a difference what the situation is. I'm sure they practice it every week, every situation that could possibly happen in a game, and we do that too. So. We were prepared for the Fairfield Prep thing when we were behind. We knew what we wanted to do. We made our adjustments and some things that we wanted to do, and we didn't panic. So I think when you have a good squad, you can do that, and I know New Canaan's no different than that.
What about, I guess, the other story angle that's been played up is you've been rolling over people so far this year. A lot of games your starters have only played a half, maybe a little into the third quarter. If you get into a tight game, is that going to be a disadvantage that you haven't played in a real close game yet?
A funny story is when we were playing, I think the team from Massachusetts, I told the starters at halftime, okay, you can take your pads off. You're all done now. And one of my starters said, "Coach, I work all summer too. Can I go back in?" And, no, you're done. You're done. But having said that, you get those kids that get a chance to get in that normally wouldn't get that much playing time. So we've had the advantage of having that. To say that they haven't been in a tough game, it's going to be interesting to see if it's a close game how our kids react. He's been in a fire before, and those kids, I mean, they never quit. They're one of the hardest fighting teams, I think, in the FCIAC. So they never die, and our kids really haven't been in that fire yet. But I feel pretty good about the group we have.
Okay, we'll be back with more after this break. I want to thank our sponsors, Blue Streak Sports Training, Carl Chevrolet, and Innovative Health and Rehabilitation. Okay, we're back with Joe Della Vecchia and Lou Marinelli. Why don't we break down the game, do a little bit of analysis right now. Joe, what worries you most about New Canaan?
Definitely Lou Marinelli. He's the key to their success. There's a lot that worries me about New Canaan. I think they're solid everywhere, both sides of the ball. Special teams, they got a great kicker. They do a lot of neat things on their special teams, so it's extra preparation time that we have to take away from practice just for that part of the game. They're very well coached, very disciplined with their assignments on both sides of the ball. So we have to be just as disciplined as them, and it's a tough task.
A lot of people are saying one of the keys to the game is your offensive line. New Canaan's defense has been shutting people down. Can your offensive line open up holes for Mufasa, whether they're going to give Jordan Visano time to pass? Do you see that as being crucial to the outcome?
Oh, absolutely. We're going to have to keep the ball for a while. They play a little faster pace than we do, so we're going to have some drives and finish off drives with scoring. And our offensive line is, as any team's the key to your success. So, we're going to have to figure out a way to make plays against them.
Lou, same question. What worries you most about St. Joseph?
Well, you start with the offensive line. I think that not only are they big, but they're very well coached, and you could tell that by the way their schemes, the way they pick up blitzes and stuff. That I think as good as the quarterback is, and I think he's one of the best in the league, and as good as Mufasa is, and I think he's one of the best in the league. And you got that double threat, but what makes it all go, is the offensive line. And then you couple the wide receivers who've done just a tremendous job with a quarterback that really knows what he's doing. He's been in the system now for 4 years, and all the 7-on-7s and all the games that he's played. So I don't know that anybody can really stop him. You just kind of try to control him, and hopefully you can get the ball back and maybe do something when you have it. But I mean, they put together a tremendous team. So I mean, it should be all that's good about high school football. When two good teams get together.
Your defense has been so hyped up this year, and you've got players like Cole Harris, Michael Root, Zach Allen, Connor Buck. I would imagine they're really looking forward to going up against this offensive line, looking at this as a real challenge.
I would hope so. I think so. I think they love to play, and just like the St. Joe's kids, I'm sure they're anxious and just can't wait to get to Friday night, and that's the way it should be. And then when it's all over, hopefully whatever happens, we'll meet again, in a couple of weeks for the FCIAC championship.
Do you look at this as the biggest regular season game your team has played, in terms, at least from FCIAC implications?
Well, right now it is, because we teach our kids, the biggest game we're playing is the next one we're playing. And it is. They read the papers, they read the blogs, they watch these shows. So it's definitely a big game. One of our goals every year is first have a winning season, second try to qualify for the FCIAC championships, and third is to make the state playoffs. So this would go a long way towards reaching two of those goals. So if we come out on top, great. If we don't, we still have a lot of other things ahead of us. So but I think it's gonna be a great game, and I know when it's over, I got a good friend in Lou. I'm going to shake his hand after and wish him well, and and we'll see what happens down the road.
What's been the mood of your kids like so far? I know we're shooting this here on Tuesday night. It's still early in the week, but you get a feel for where your kids are right now?
Yeah, we just finished all the game planning this afternoon, and have it all in place, and we're just going through executing it, and like they are every week, they ask a lot of questions, and they're figuring things out. We're somewhat familiar with them on offense because we run the same type of offense, so they do a few things different, so we have a pretty decent grasp of what we're trying to do. Just can we execute it? And then offensively, we're just trying to shore up some of the things that we haven't performed real well at, and making sure that we understand who their people are in defense, and make sure we get bodies on them and things like that.
What about with your guys? What's the mood of the team been the first few days of practice so far?
The mood has been very upbeat. We try to let the kids have some fun at practice. We play music a lot and try to loosen it up while we're still trying to teach the kids, what St. Joseph's trying to do and their keys and their reads. So I can't see getting them all crazy on I've done that before, where you get them crazy on Wednesday and then comes Friday and they're flagged. Like, hey, what happened? So I think they're looking forward. And one thing I would like to mention too: how great is it whether whoever's 1, 2, 3, having 2 FCIAC teams that are in the top 3. I mean, and certainly there's a lot more that are down below that are in the top 10. So I think it says a lot for our league, and that's what makes this game so good.
Okay, and we'll be back with more after this break. I want to thank our sponsors: Blue Streak Sports Training, Carl Chevrolet, and Innovative Health and Rehabilitation. Okay, and we're back here with St. Joseph coach Joe Della Vecchia and New Canaan coach Lou Marinelli. Joe, you guys have never been to the FCIAC FCIAC championship game before. What would it mean to them?
Well, I mean, that's a few weeks down the road. We'd have to win Friday night and 2 games afterwards to get there. I know it would mean an awful lot to them to get there, but our focus is all New Canaan right now. We couldn't be in a better situation right now to play in a big game like this. I mean, there's 140 schools out there, and there's only 2 of us playing in this big game. So we're excited to go play down there, and I'm sure they're just as excited for us to come down. So,
what about from a coaching standpoint? We've talked about the players. Is it any different for you, a big game like this, your prep for the week, as opposed to just another game?
I don't think so. I probably overanalyze everything during the week. Just watching film like crazy, making sure the kids are focused where they should be focused on. I don't care who we're playing. I'm always uptight about it during the week, just to make sure that I have hit everything that we need to go over. And then, game day is probably the easiest because everything's done. There's really nothing else you can do but just go out and play and hopefully enjoy the game.
How about for you? Is this week any different than any other week in terms of your prep for a big game?
I'd love to tell you that, no, it's just same old. I want to try to keep it the same old, but kids are kids, and we're human too, and certainly, how many big games do you really get to play, in a year? A couple maybe. So I think we're all excited. I know Joe's excited. I'm excited. I think the kids are excited. But you want to channel that and make sure that they understand what their jobs are. But I mean, it's and I think the kids kind of read the coaches. If you're uptight, I mean, they're going to be a little uptight. If you're a little bit looser and don't think that it's life or death. I think they have a tendency to play off of that.
All right.
Hope it's a great game.
Well, we're looking forward to it, and thanks for watching this special episode of FCIAC Football Weekly.